then next, we'll stick with the LSU theme a little bit. So we had all the way in at the same meet, we had Torrie Lewis of Australia. So she actually got her first Diamond League victory, just 19 years old, in the 200 with a time of 22.96. She was able to outlean Sha'Carri Richardson at the line with the time of 22.99. So something that I didn't know, I guess it makes sense because they're in the Southern Hemisphere, but Australia, she just came off of her national championship last week. And so I'm seeing a bunch of people online being like, oh, like this is, we have to start worrying. I got to, like, you lost to this. Be like, hold up. She had her national championship last week because, the seasons are, inverse and she's in the Southern Hemisphere. Great run. But I don't think there's much to worry about here. Is there anything really or people just like kind of yelling at clouds with this performance really?
Kind of yelling at clouds. Definitely an impressive performance. Definitely an athlete to keep an eye on, considering she's only 19 years old. Do I want to put my money that she'll beat Sha'Carri and those other girls like throughout the season? Wouldn't put my money there just yet, but she ran a great race. Like, just to look at it objectively, to look at it for what it was, like, she ran a hell of a race on the outside. And she did her thing, like, big ups to her. But that whole peaking thing with the national championships, it is a little like wonky. So she's in a different condition than, these other girls. But like I said, man, great race. If you can do it again is a question, but that was a great race.
Yeah, I was seeing when I was looking at the end of the race, I was like, it looks like some of these people are in their first race. Legs were starting to get low. I was like, yeah, you're in a very different part of the training cycle. So no, I agree. But so is lane 9 like the new place to just be? So she beats Sha'Carri out of lane 9. Sha'Carri wins the 100 out of lane 9. Wade Van Niekerk breaks the world record out of lane 9. Is lane 9 just an underrated lane? Like, what are your thoughts when you're out there in lane 9 when you're racing?
Lane 9 it's hit or miss because you are in no man's land. So you get that added anxiety of like, I can't let anybody break me on a stagger because, if I do, I'm screwed. But you get that like a little bit of an extra push. So you're in your own race, you're in your own zone. And in a 200, if things go well, you shouldn't really see or feel anybody for at least, I'd say, like 60 meters, 70 meters if you're doing things right. So lane 7 could be a gift for those reasons. And, if you can't get out, lane 9 might be some trouble for you, but seems like for those three athletes you just mentioned, lane 9 is pretty all right for them.
Which what lane would you say is your ideal one? Where if you can pick every race where you're lining up?
I like 6. I like lane 6. I feel comfortable in lane 6 or 7 because I know, I got some people on my inside that I can feel, but also I want to be able to get a good gauge of where I am, as far as the stagger goes. We're looking at people from outside, so 6 or 7 for sure.
6 or 7. And so for many of the races, do they just automatically assign you where you're going, or is it like, hey, if you're at the top, you get to pick and you're picking the lanes? Like how do they do those?
It's a little bit of both depending on the meet. Something like a Diamond League, I would believe Sha'Carri would have first pick to whatever lane she wanted in that race. Or Sharika, if she was in that race, she would have first pick to whatever lane she wanted. And then it kind of, goes from there. The next medalist or the next most highly credited athlete would get that pick after, and so on and so forth until the lanes are filled out. So it's kind of how it goes.
Makes sense. All right, yeah. I would say I've always liked being on the outside. Like I like hey, I'm just never gonna see anyone. If I just keep going, that was what it was like for me. I always loved being like when we were doing workouts, like, hey, let me lead it off. I don't want to see people. I just want to go. I can see. Well, I know why a lot of people hated it. I liked it for the opposite reasons. It was like, all right, let me just not see you, and then if I can do that, I know I'm doing well. So there it is.